All right, welcome to our Sunday night business leadership call. We're basically wrapping up our vision boards right now. And so we just got done with an hour-long vision board party, which we all were just sharing what we were doing. And so just for tonight, I was just telling everybody, I'm like, hey, we're just gonna keep the party going with our goals and like what we want to do no matter what, because part of leadership and part of, the business side of what we all do collectively is encouraging each other and being that accountability. So whether you are not at all associated to the business or leadership part, you can still share what you're working on because we are all here to support one another. So we are Team Unstoppable because there's nothing that can get in our way from achieving our goals. And if you came on here and shared your wins, as in like, hey guys, I cleaned out my garden and I rearranged my basement and all that stuff, then like we're all going to sit here and be like, hell yeah, that's amazing, good job, because that's what we do. And so if you didn't get XYZ done like you thought you were going to, like, we're not here to reprimand you or make you feel bad about it. We're here to continue to support you in the ways that you want to keep achieving those goals. So this is just kind of our itinerary. I'm trying to fix what is happening? My screen here. Don't like that. But this is our, there. No. So here's just our slight itinerary so we can try to stay on track. And so does anybody have any wins that they want to share this week? Anything that you're really proud of, really excited about? Does anybody want to talk about something that they've achieved or anything like that? I'll just make it an awkward silence if nobody wants to speak.
I got my first boxes and things moved over to the new home which is huge. It's definitely a start and it's a big process, but today we got all my most sentimental crystal things up in the cabinet between the kitchen and the living room. So that was quite the accomplishment. My husband grouted the tile and did our backsplash.
I can't wait to see the finished product in your kitchen.
It's crazy.
Modeling. So Molly and Brent got married in November, and so she hasn't fully moved in yet because they were remodeling and she still had this other place. And so her moving her stuff over, is a big thing. So that is awesome. Any other wins? Lisa?
Yeah, I had a car problem the last week and I finally picked up a different car yesterday. Having your independence taken away is the worst ever. I don't know if anybody's watching that has helped me with that this last week, but getting rides as a 50-year-old woman's not fun. So anyways, back in business. So huge win for me. Definitely.
Lisa, are you exactly 50?
My what?
What are you 50 on the dot?
No, 49 in a couple months.
Okay, I was like, hey.
But if I say 45, that's a complete lie. So in 50 just is like, oh, it's cool. But yeah, almost there.
When is your birthday?
May 23rd.
Okay, you're a May baby.
When's your birthday?
March 30th.
Okay.
Coming up. So today is one of my cousin's birthday, and then one of our neighbors' little girl has a birthday coming up. But in our like immediate 4 family, mine is the next one. But it's always like, it's not like March. It's still forever. It's the end of March, so we still got a couple months to get through. But Miles who's super obsessed with birthdays, is always like singing birthday to whoever, happy birthday to whoever. But anyway. Any announcements? Does anybody have anything that they want to share that's like, this is going on, that's going on? Any other wins? We're still just, this is a loose itinerary. going through these that came with a, like a planner. And so some of them have like nice little sayings and stuff on them. Future favors, or fortune favors the bold. Don't look back, you're not going that way.
I got a small win. One of my previous customers that couldn't really afford too much of the product because she's an older, beautiful lady. Got her some product in the past just because. And she actually, I spoke with her the other day. She recently just had an internal TENS unit put in. And she found out she's had kidney things, and she's like, "Honey, you know that stuff you sent me before? I think that really helped me, so I'd like to start buying that," which was the Amtihydrate. So that was kind of awesome that it really helped her. And
I didn't answer the question, but I don't have her information.
oh, you don't? Okay, that's all right. I'll get a hold of her and figure it out.
That's exciting. Go the extra mile. It's never crowded. Cute little one. So, okay, today's last day for the 10% off new customers. So if anybody had a last minute tracking people down, otherwise, we're still, I think most people are still chugging on all of the crystal reset stuff. So put that date down on here for anybody who is get that executive by, I think it's June 26th, right? So, yeah, so get that date down. Is everybody loving the new bars? Anybody still haven't tried it? I like the churro one, but you know the brownie one's pretty good too.
My husband and I like both of them, and I actually like put them together because we split it in half. That was really good. Chocolate churro.
That is so sweet.
Yeah.
They're my new faves. I love them both. I can't even pick a favorite between them.
No. At first I thought I really liked the churro one, and then I've been having a little bit more of the brownie one. I was like, no, you know that one?
Right?
Ooh, they are both so yummy. Oh, yeah.
Over.
I need this one. It says find the joy in the ordinary, because like routine is so good, but like, you know, the mundane will sometimes bore me and I just don't want to do it. And so, all right, I think I'm done with stickers. I'm done with all my photos. So I'm just going to keep writing things down. So I heard something the other day that I really liked. So one of my good friends and my cousin is following this coach. Did I freeze? Or did everybody else freeze? Nope. Lisa's moving. Molly froze. Okay. Okay, there we go. So she was talking about this coach that told her to write down a list that is becoming her. And her is the best version of yourself. So write a list of everything that she does, being the best version of you. And so becoming her is the goal this year, right? And you're a guy on here becoming him, you know, all these things. And so I had done a little bit of that, mainly to untangle my brain, but I did all of these subjects, and that all pertains to the vision board, right? So one subject is my health, and I wrote down all of the things that I know if I do these things for my health, I feel the best version of myself. Alone, like looking at this big list can sometimes feel like exhausting. It's daunting. It's too much to try to handle. It's all these things, but I can actually pick apart each one of these into much smaller things. And so, for example, you know, just getting my sleep under control. Right now, I'm just being completely honest, I'm in a bed for about 9 hours, and I don't, that's too much for me. I am still tired. I saw this meme too, where it's like, I get 4 hours of sleep, wake up tired. I get 9 hours of sleep, wake up tired, get the recommended, you know, 7 to 8 hours of sleep, still wake up tired. And so I'm trying to figure out what is the biohack that we need to do to get that solid right amount of sleep. You're always going to be a little bit tired, right? But me and Brad were looking at our watch apps that share like when you're in your deep sleep, your REM, your light sleep. And I was trying to see if there was a window that I'm always in my light sleep in the morning hours of when I'd like to wake up, that I can try to aim for getting up, whether it's like 4:30, 5:30, you know, whatever. As long as I'm waking up easily, you know, I can get through the day. And so that's just one of the examples on here, you know, we actually want to eat out a little bit, which is tend to be a lot of people's opposite, right? They don't want to eat out, but because we have not done a lot of eating out in California, we feel like we've missed some of these great restaurants. Now, yesterday we ate out and it was not cheap. And today we ate out and it was not cheap. So we do have to regulate it, but getting it scheduled and planning for it is what we have both in our health and in our finance section. Now, when I did these Becoming Her sections, it was very much to do with like the whole family and things like that too. But it's like the her version of Sadie is very mindful with money and makes good choices and, you know, follows and does all these things. And so you can consider doing that kind of list for yourself. And it doesn't have to be as extensive as mine. Mine was much of a untangling my brain, but do that version for yourself in whatever way that makes sense. You know, the type of mom that you want to be, the type of wife you want to be, the type of work, you know, employee you want to be, things like that. And know that it's not going to happen overnight, but like you can pick like what's important to me right now is sleep. And so it's like, I've got some of my other habits and health that helps me become her down packed, like they're good, or I'm close to them or whatever. But sleep is an area that I'm like, all right, I got to get a little bit better at this because it's just not working out. I want more time. And so that was a really important piece of the vision board process for me. And when it comes to, I'm going to change directions, talk a little bit more about the Isagenix stuff here. I've got an entire page about Isagenix and Team Unstoppable. And it's having that clear intention, which is my word of the year, is intention. What is my intention with my team? What is my intention with my financial income? What is my intention with Unstoppable? What is my intention with my social media? What is my intention with all of these things? And I had created, some of us have heard about the make an avatar of your perfect partner, right? So what do they look like? How old are they? How do they act? What are their traits? You know, what kind of things about them? And every time you post anything that has to do with the business or with your lifestyle, it's so that that fake made up person enjoys it, right? So mine is a gal named Jenna, and I did a video recording myself for about 12 minutes describing everything about Jenna. Now I need to watch that video back and write it down and put that, you know, somewhere where I can see it as well. But I have all these details about her. She's an event planner, you know, she loves community. She has this great group of friends, like, and like, she's not able to do as much as she once was able to do in her career because she's got kids, you know, like many other women in our industry. And so that perfect partner would look at this vision board and be like, this is amazing. You know, I love this. This is, you're going to get this. Like, you know, she's supportive. I'm supportive of her. Like, we have very similar things. And so everything that I do is for attracting her. And people have had countless stories about how they've literally brought in somebody named Jenna, you know, that had almost the exact same profile. So there's almost 8 billion people in the world or whatever it is. Like, it is not that crazy to think. So I have conversations, follow-ups, new combos, systematic reach outs, asking people from on a scale from 1 to 10, you know, working with people that are 8 and above. How much money do I want to make? How many hours a day and week do I want to work on Isagenix? What is my financial 30-second story? You know, I have my weight loss story. I have my community story. What is my finance story? It's hard to sometimes talk about how much we make, right? Because if I'm sitting here trying to cast the vision and I'm telling the stranger, like, you know, this is there's no income cap, you know, like you can make billions of dollars. I work with people that make, you know, millions of dollars every year. And then they say, you know, how much do you make? And you're like, well, I don't make millions yet, but how can you say that with confidence and be like, you know, I just got started. I've only been doing this for 3 years. You know, I had to go to school for 5 years, longer than that really, for nursing. And you don't get paid all of the money right away. You have to work your way up and you have to get unpaid. You don't get paid during the schooling portion of it. The thing with network marketing is that you do get paid during the learning process. So I'm still very much in that learning stage. And some people can go fast, and sometimes those people have experience in other areas. Sometimes they don't have limiting beliefs. Sometimes they don't have confidence issues and things like that. And so not ever comparing your story to other people, but creating your own. So, I mean, I could go on and on all of this, but like, has anybody else ever done this? Has anybody else sat down and like come up with their Isagenix specific goals of what it would take for you to be where you want to be? That can be today's topic. I know I've been trying to encourage Molly to do it. Won't make you speak on the spot here, but say for
I'm
example,
working on that. I mean, I know where I want to be, and now it's just figuring out how to backtrack that. Is where I'm kind of stuck. So, but yes.
so on my, I have a vision board background to my, I'll show you it here. Put that down. So I have this vision board background to my, oops, it's not going to let me change the side. So I'll just kind of move this along. So this is one portion of it. So you can see I've got 40 cycles, Isagenix Legacy Club. My team is growing. It says I develop consultants with ease, brave, 45 leader in action, PVC 123, sharp women, global top achiever, wealth, visit all 50 states, healthy body. Let's see. Then I've got, this is a first class cabin and the speaking on stage. And then in the background, you can see a beautiful cabin. And then over here, I've got beautiful mountainscape, family first, $1 million. This is the 2022 vision board. I attract mentally strong leaders, manager, director, executive. I've got yummy food down there. And then over here, I've got Fiji, action. What does that say? 10, however many, 40 consultants, fit and lean, travel, 6-figure income earner, solution-based company, call to action, confidence, clear vision, goal-driven, ask more questions. What is their motivation? And then I have Fiji down on the bottom because that was the global top achievers for this year. And so I created that. I'm gonna move it back over and put the thing back up so that I can see it all the time with the background of my computer, right? And so there's been times where like I'll be sharing screen in a professional environment and they'll see like a little bit of my background and I'm like, oh my gosh, like they just saw a half naked picture of a woman, or oh my gosh, they just saw this, glimpse of my personal life, and some of them are not, people that I would normally share that type of stuff with. And so having that on my background, it helps me take a look at it while I'm, doing other things. I also have the background of my phone that also has different traits and different things in manifestation, words of affirmation, things like that. And so when it comes to numbers, Isagenix is super number driven. And so if you're like, I want to cycle 20 times, become 2-star or whatever, you can put 20 everywhere, all around your house. Emily used to say this, like sticky notes, put 20 at the door when you're about to walk out your front door, put 20 on your fridge when you go to grab a soda, grab 20 on your microwave, 20 on your bathroom mirror, 20 next to your toilet paper, like 20, 20, 20, 20, 20 everywhere. And so you can do things like that. It might throw off the aesthetic, decorative fashion of your house, but it's like, how bad do you want it? And so when it comes to, anything that you want to do to remind yourself of that goal. It doesn't have to be a sticky note. It could be like a gold star, right? If you want 2-star, put 2 stars all over the house. And then somebody might be visiting and be like, you have a lot of stars around your house. And then you'd be like, oh, I just like stars. If you didn't want to share with them, you don't have to. And it looks like it fits in a little bit more. But same thing with numbers. Like if you write down, that you want to do like $1,000 every week, backtrack, where are you at now? Say you're making $200 every week. What do you have to do? So you got to times that, my effort now has to be times how much to get to $2,000, and so it's like getting to that mindset where I'm spending an hour a day every day? What if I spent 2 hours a day every day? What is that going to get me? How do I have to leverage? What can I do to leverage and get to these goals and things like that? So it really is that backwards planning and creating a path to get there. If you feel like a daily post on social media is going to get you there, then put daily post everywhere on your to-do list. You know, if you've got like, I need to do a reel every day. I need to talk about money every day. I need to go live every day. I need to do this and that. Like, put that in your planner to do every single day. Like, get it on your forefront. I've shared a little bit with this planner before. This is called the ADHD planner. And I did print out something to put on my vision board that says ADHD is my superpower, because I am running with it. So today I wrote one thing on my planner, one thing, and it's my cousin's birthday. And so I didn't want to forget that. And what I really like, all right, have we, or did she already pop off by Lisa? Oh, she's already gone. So what I like about this planner is that every day it gives me a spot to put an affirmation. Now the day is getting close to being done, right? But I can still do an affirmation that has to do with remembering today's theme, right? And then I love that it says at the bottom, write down your accomplishments. So my accomplishments are going to be a super successful vision board party, a super successful vision board that I am like so in love with looking at every day, coming down to my desk, looking up, you know, behind my computer. I'm in my dining room right now, and I want to show you guys something a little bit later, but looking at my desk, looking behind my computer, and just taking a few moments to soak it all in and be like, this is something that makes me feel good looking at every day. And so that's an accomplishment for me. And so whether or not I can ever go up to this vision board and like do a big fat check mark next to something, you know, hopefully we get to check mark off our cruise because it's already paid for and nothing takes it away from us. So we can do a big fat check mark next to it. And how good would that feel? Some things on here might not really get checked off. You know, something could come up, maybe like a meteor is going to smash Six Flags and I can't go, you know, like things like that could come up, but it's like spending time enjoying and being thankful for the things that you can check off. And that's where Isagenix is so great, because there's always different directions of accomplishments you could go. And it can be so small. Like, I'm going to get one enrollment this week. You know, I'm going to even just remember to take the product. I'm going to make sure that I am making, you know, 2 new conversations every day, or I'm going to make sure that I am reaching out to my current teammates, or I am going to make sure that I am looking in my back office and checking on things. Like, you can have so many small, tiny goals and achievements to get done in Isagenix, and then you could have your big giant ones. One thing that would catch me up and swirl me up in a big fat pile of brain jarble was how Eric Worre would always be like, go bigger, go bigger, go bigger. So if you say, oh, I want to do 40 cycles, he's going to be like, why only 40? Only 40? That's nothing. That's peanuts. And you're like, dude, 40 is a lot. But he's always just trying to get you to stretch and go. And so that would always mess me up. And then I would give myself these big giant goals and get so sad when I didn't reach them. And that's where following the SMART acronym, which I did print out, being specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. Eric Worre doesn't know what my level of any of these are, only I do. And even my leadership and people who brought me in can sit here and say, you know what, Sadie, like, you say you want to cycle 2 times or whatever, I think you can cycle 4 times. It's like, thank you for believing in me, but I want to go one by one. So when I have people that work with me to lose weight or different things like that, and I'm never going to push them to a point of uncomfortable when they have certain goals and they're like, oh, I just want to lose a half a pound a week. Like, that's great. Tell me why a half a pound? And if I feel like their why isn't very strong, or because they don't have confidence, or because of XYZ, that's when I can come in and just like do some thought-provoking type questions. But I'm never going to try to like push anybody to be like, oh, well, I think you can lose 5 pounds a week. So it's really about empowering them to make that decision for themselves. And so all of these decisions on here are for myself. And for a long time, I felt like I was letting people down if I didn't get executive. I was letting people down if I didn't do this or that or blah, blah, blah. And that's just not the case. All of this on here is for me and the people in my home. And thankfully, we work in an industry that helps a lot of other people. So every time I win, all of the people below and above me win, right? Like that's how it works. We get to do this together and we get to bounce ideas off of each other and do so much good that has to do with the entire team. It's called that leverage, or I forget who said it, but they prefer the term leverage comes in, and we all just do this together. And so, Sarah, I can see your face. Why don't you share? Let's talk.
What are we gonna talk about?
So, okay, where are you at with your vision board? Because you were working, right?
I just honestly, life got to me, and then I didn't get printer ink, so I didn't get to print anything off. But I have all my stuff that I want to print, and I will be working on that. But yeah, I don't know. I did want to share one win because I haven't been. I was like in a slump, and and then you talked about the whatever the retrograde or whatever it was called.
Yeah.
And honestly, I didn't know about it, and I watched it that next day, and I was like, I'm already starting to feel better, and I'm like, maybe there is something to this hokey pokey,
Right.
you know.
Well-
And but I was at work, and a regular asked me like, "How you doing? How's life?" And I just said, I'm okay." And they're like, "Well, that's not the Sarah I know." And I was like, "Yeah, I don't know. I'm just going through the slump." And she's like, "Yeah, we all are." And then she asked me, "Do you have a gratitude journal?" I said, "No, it's something I'm going to be getting." And she said, "I just started it, and I'm going to get you one. So don't you buy one. I'm going to get you one." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, like how sweet." And then I said, "Well, do you have a vision board? Because that's what also I'm working on." Because she's like, talking about things that she's trying to make herself better. And I'm like, this could be a way to introduce her to the group. Like,
Mhm.
join us. Like, if you want a community, if you're wanting to be uplifted and help yourself. Because she's like, we'll help each other and we can talk about it. And I was like, I'm all about that. Like,
Mhm.
I am. Just not right this second. I'm sorry. Like, you know, so it was kind of a win.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I love that because, you know, sometimes like you bring up a couple good points, like we can't pour from an empty cup. And so when we're not feeling great, you know, it's hard to show up for other people. Now there's plenty of people out there that will say like, fake it till you make it, you know, whatever, pretend, you know, throw on some music, whatever. Sometimes that just doesn't work. So you've got to, you know, surround yourself with people that are going to bring up that energy. And then, you know, just like filling in those gaps where you're like, hey, you know I'm not going to be as, you know, turned on to be able to do this, but I know somebody that is, and they give you back something in return, you know, like with the gratitude journal, like that is amazing. Like, I feel like if you can do something to ground yourself every day, whether it's affirmations, you know, prayer, meditation, breath work, like anything to do something to ground yourself and bring you back into your who you are, go on a walk in nature, things like that. Like it's so important. And that was one of the reasons why I invested in this type of journal, where it's like, it kind of forces me to go day by day because I don't like empty days. And so at the end of this call, I'm going to fill all this in because this is also like a journal for me to like write down, you know, what I'm, you know, thankful for, what went well today, what didn't go well. I can always go in my apps and how many steps did I get in today? Like, what did I eat today? You know, and if I notice things like I slept better tonight, I can go back and be like, maybe it had something to do with what I ate. Maybe it had something to do with my fitness levels, things like that. And so having some sort of a way to keep track of things, and you can do that via your gratitude journal. Like, I'm so thankful that I got 5,000 steps in today. I'm so thankful that, you know, I didn't have as much back pain today. I'm so thankful that I didn't have, you know, gas pains today, whatever the case may be. And so you can have different themes. And so I think that's amazing. And if she's open enough, your friend, to a gratitude journal, then like they'll be more receptive to a lot of the types of themes and stuff that we have here, even if she's not ready for our nutrition or
that's
anything.
what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. And you know, on like our thread, Mika was talking about the cool video she had of grounding. I think I'm going to share it in the Unstoppable either leaders or maybe even the 30 day. It was a really cool watch. Like, I didn't realize I don't know if I just got lost. Sorry, my battery's dying. But like actually putting your feet on the earth, and then there's actual like science behind it. Well, here I am like in Illinois, it's freezing, and I'm like, how do I figure this out? But I was like, it was really cool to see, and that those people that can do it, like, you know, on good days, like when it's nicer weather or whatever, if you're in California, like it's a really cool thing. So I'm going to share that video because there's some really cool things about it.
Well, I think, you know, getting like nature is nature. And so snow is nature. Touching a tree is nature. Like you can get out into the outside, even in the coldest of coldest states, and still find a way to connect with nature. Like even just doing some breath work in the icy cold air for 5 minutes, like that is a version of a cold plunge. I can't do that here. Like, I mean, and it seems like, you know, like you don't like, you're like, why would you want to, you know, but there are, actually just read
I
something.
never thought of
Yeah.
like
I mean,
maybe not even go outside without my coat on for a few minutes. That's
Yeah.
like turning the shower cold, you know?
and it, I mean, like
That's
there's,
awesome.
you know, getting that natural sunshine, like if it's a sunny day out, getting that natural sunshine on your skin, like during the day, I mean, take your jacket off and let the sunshine touch your skin, not your jacket, not your long sleeves or anything like that. And think about, you know, your poor legs and, you know, the parts that are always covered in the winter, like getting that out. Like I laugh all the time. You guys seen the jokes and stuff about like sunning your perineum, like getting out into the, like sunning where the sun don't shine. But I've often thought like, man, I feel like that would be like, it would feel so good to have the sunshine, you know, in places of your body. I have never done it. I probably never will. I don't know. Maybe Brad and I will get crazy at some point, but like getting that sunshine on your skin that doesn't get sun during those winter months is super important. And so any way that you can think, he's looking at me funny, but he's smiling. So that's a good sign. So it's like just thinking of ways like that to ground yourself in the winter and getting creative, like snowball fights.
Is anybody else glitching with Sadie?
Oh, it might just be you. You froze. I think it's just Sarah. Sometimes I'm glitchy, but it's been good here today. But yeah, I think I love that, you know, the grounding stuff, and in our team Unstoppable, you know, like we want to share all kinds of stuff that has to do with all different areas of your health. And so that's why I just like researching everything to do with biohacking. There's a gym not too far from here that's like has these crazy sensor machines that can tell like exactly how much force and resistance you need. It's really crazy and unique. It's not a cheap place to go, but it's a form of biohacking, you know, your muscles and things like that. And so being able to, you know, I was wanting to go out and meet with them and do like an interview with them or something. It's just showing the different ways of biohacking that are out there. I do the red light sauna. Like there's all kinds of other ways to do the biohacking, but like finding the cheap things too, you know, like for me, I get a dopamine hit every time I look at a fake plant. I just found a free one the other day and I was like, this is amazing. And then today we went to Jo-Ann Fabric and we were walking up and down with all these vines and pretty flowers. And I'm like, why are they so expensive? I don't want to pay for them. I want to get them for free. So where can I find them? You know, even going to the Goodwill and getting them for a couple bucks, like sign me up. But the dopamine hit that I get from pretty plants, I would love to have real plants one day, but I feel like I need to graduate into that. So finding those little biohacking ways of creating that connection. I do have a real money tree and a real little aloe squishy plant, and that's all that's real in this house. But also biohacking and giving yourself some of that oxytocin by touching and feeling other humans, and even my cats, you know, cuddling the cats, like that gives you like a nice release of hormones and things like that. But I've looked up so many different things. I'm going to juice right after this. And when you look up the different types of nutrients that come from things with juicing, who would have ever thought about juicing a purple cabbage? Never would have been on my radar. But when I looked up the 10 best fruits and vegetables to juice for their nutrients, that was on every single list. And so it's not exactly the most amazing flavor, but what you can do with juicing is there's some very loud masking flavors that can override that. And so I always throw some ginger in there. I always throw some lemon, things like that. I'm salivating thinking about it. And then I recently found out that papaya is a really strong flavor to overrun things that you might not like. And basil, oh, basil is so delicious to throw in as you're juicing. But I feel like I've been talking about this for a couple of weeks now. Every time we have a meeting, I bring up juicing. You guys should like make me put $1 and a quart in a jar every time that I talk about juicing. But you're chasing your vegetables and fruits. Like, you know, when are they going to go bad? I've got a bunch of bananas here that are starting to look pretty brown, but I'm going to mash them up and make some nice cream. And so those are not my juicing. Those aren't for juicing, but those are more for the, you know, other side of benefits and stuff for smoothie making and things like that. But I'm getting low in my inventory in my fridge. So I'm like, all right, gotta go again. But when I go to the store, it's what's going to last. Because you can't, I'm not going to juice an entire head of cabbage. I can do it in at least, you know, 2 or 3 times, but it's all about that benefit that you get from each fruit and vegetable. I'm not going to eat cabbage by itself, but I can throw it into stuff like this. And so, yeah, I know today's topic is kind of all over the place. We didn't really fully come up with that. Our community calls that are on Wednesdays. This week we are talking about hormones, and Lisa is our speaker this week. So she's going to come on and share a little bit of her story, and we'll be talking about how hormones have to do with our body, whether it's with weight loss or, you know, the changes that happen. Of course, hormones have control over so many different functions in our body. So I'm really excited to tap into that and have a good community call about that. So anything that you guys have for information wise concerning hormones, throw that in Team Unstoppable this week and throw it in our 30-day chat. You know, it's something that people know what they are, but they don't know a lot about them. And they don't understand that there's a hunger hormone, there's a satiety hormone, there's, you know, of course, our sex hormones that change throughout life. There's, you know, the different metabolism related hormones from our adrenals, from thyroid, from so many of our natural functions. And if they're not being tested and checked regularly at the doctor and things like that, we have no idea what's going on. So if your hormones are off, it's all symptom based. And to get into somebody like a rheumatologist or, you know, like a endocrinologist who specifically deals with your hormone systems can be months and months and months of a wait to get in to be seen. So unless you're like having something very serious, it's not something you're going to be able to track down. And so educating and bringing up and talking about the different major ones is, I think, a really good topic for this month or for this week, I should say. And so that will be one of our assignments, is just look for anything hormone related and, you know, see if that can't attract some new people into our community that are interested in learning more about hormones and all of our community topics in health. And so as far as like other things that we're working on as a team with Unstoppable here, we've got a couple of different real ideas thrown out there in the groups. We had a cleanse one that we just need to assign who's going to do what for that and get that going. Yes, Sarah, are you back online here?
Yeah, I'm here. Do you know if any of our products do help with hormones, or
Yeah,
is that like, we don't want to like diagnose or anything, but you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, the obvious one is that how our Ionix helps with cortisol, and how our shake specifically helps suppress that hunger hormone and increase that fullness hormone. And so we can kind of bring back into talking about that. I have a couple of graphics that talk about different hormones, but how many people have we anecdotally heard have had things clear up with their autoimmune diseases? How many times have we heard people talking about, you know, getting pregnant, fertility issues? How many people?
Yeah, very true. I guess I don't think about that as hormones. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and that's where the education piece needs to come in a little bit more to talk about, women who have gone through menopause and how this has helped through them, even people who've had cancer, and they've taken this stuff during cancer, like how it can help regulate. And of course, it's being very cautious to say that we're not diagnosing, treating anything like that, but it's just saying anecdotally, this helps support your body's natural functions. And it gives the nutrients that your body is craving and maybe not getting in other food. Like, what nutrients, what is the processed food, the chips, the, junk food, they can be very big hormone disruptors, especially the obvious sugar. Sugar is a hormone disruptor because if you have more sugar in your body than you have insulin that you're producing from your pancreas, then where does all that excess sugar go? It doesn't get burned off. It's not, we burn off carbohydrates before we do protein or fats or anything else. So if there's more carbohydrates from sugar, especially in our body, than what we are burning off, our bodies will store it. So juicing, another $1. When you juice a lot of fruits, you are basically, it's the good kind of sugar, right? But it's still sugar. And so if you're not like, say if I'm juicing a ton of sugar and then I go work out, perfect. That's great. Do it. But if I'm juicing a bunch of sugar and then not physically active throughout the day and stuff like that, it doesn't have the same effect. Now, majority of what I juice are vegetables because vegetables are harder for me to eat plain than the fruits. I'll eat a pear, just pick a pear up and eat it, but I won't just pick up a head of broccoli and eat that, so it's things like that. So I know we keep losing Sarah on and off here, but we can go ahead and kind of start wrapping up and talk about, just like our goals in general. I think that, we're taking a lot of the month of January just to get back into the groove of things. We often think that we're going to get right into routine. Everything's going to be great. Like the first day of the year, but we still have sometimes a full week off of work and school. And then we had celebration or a New Year's kickoff. And then it's like still getting back into the groove of things. Like if anybody's been going to the gym lately, you see that it's still crowded. I went the other day for a cycle at 6 p.m. and I literally had to like dodge around a bunch of groups of teenagers and young people, and it's like Brad saying at the gym has been extra full too. Like that stuff will start to like lessen up and we'll start getting more into our habits and routines and things like that. And so I felt bad for not doing this vision board party earlier in the month, but ultimately I think this was a good way for us to really like settle back in from the chaos of the holidays, from, all of that stuff so that we can start really setting that intention. So we're not losing out, whole 3 weeks into the year, that's 3 weeks that we're starting to get our feet on the ground and work towards our goals. So we've been doing less as a team here with our reels and with our, group. Of course, we've got our 30 days and we've got everybody in the New Year's kickoff challenge and stuff like that. But getting into more deeper grooves of everything, I think will come with a little bit more time as we settle. So I know I've mentioned it a couple of weeks now, but I will be unable to attend the February 15th call because I will be on the boat. I might be able to jump on. It kind of just depends on what we've got going on that day. And that's the day that I'll be on the cruise. And there just may be a couple of other days that I'm unable to get on, but we'll keep up with our calls, keep up with our Sunday night calls as best as we can. And so if anybody wants to rotate in to be the spotlight, the speaker on our calls, even if you just do the morning or just do the evening, that would be great. We always highlight a product of the day as well. And so I believe this week we are on to an elixir again, and I don't have it in front of me, but last week we talked about the new plant bars. The week before that, we talked about the natural accelerator. So I think we're on to one of the elixirs this week. So I was trying to rotate it through the different kinds of things that we do. And so does anybody else have any other like intentions for this week, any goals this week, things that you want to try to get done before the end of the month? I mean, we're almost, we're 9 days out and then we're into February. stop sharing my screen here. So I know my intention this week is to just finish up the board, get that on the wall, keep plugging at my routines, keep plugging at becoming her, and getting into the mundane. And sometimes the mundane for me is so boring, and I tend to put it off and I come up with all these excuses, but I want to get back into the boring walks, the reaching out, doing all these things that sometimes can just feel like such a chore. I need to get that out of my head and just do it. And so I am working on that and getting through a couple of crazy things at work this week and keep on trucking. So
I am with you, Sadie.
yeah.
Just getting back to, I feel like I don't know about you, but just where we were pre-COVID, like with our business,
Mhm.
and just getting back there. And like you said, just going back to what got us there, like doing events, setting events, making your reach outs, doing your follow-ups, like it's the mundane that we got away from. And that's how we grow this business.
And it's finding new people. And that's what I was thinking, because I was caught in a little bit of a trap the other day where I was fighting imaginary people in my head, defending what I'm doing and defending and feeling like, I'm hearing these excuses that I'm not hearing these excuses. Like nobody's saying them because I'm not talking to as many people right now, but I'm anticipating and assuming that people are saying these things. And I'm like, what am I doing? Like, where is this coming from? How is this getting in my head? But like, I need to talk to new people, sharing the opportunity, making these connections, finding myself in these new places. And the only way to do that is just get out there and do it. And so I'm not chasing people. I'm not dragging anybody. I had a situation with my cousin the other day where she felt the need to reiterate the boundary that she's not interested. And I was like, I respect that boundary 100%. I didn't do anything to like provoke it, but she had actually brought it up herself. And she was like, I know, Sadie, I know you have an opportunity, but I just really want to let you know, like, I'm not interested. And I was like, I didn't even say anything. Like, you're the one that brought it up.
That's when you want to say, I don't want you to do it.
I know, like, you are not legit, like, in the nicest way. I was trying to be like, you are not my ideal customer. I don't want a partner that is somebody I have to convince that this is so great. It's like, we all know the amazing people that are in Isagenix that were like super skeptical, right? Like they're all so wildly successful in all these things now, but it's like somebody had some major patience with them to get them to, to believe in this, including me. And it's like, I want people that are just open to begin with, that have been around the block, seen a few things, that are just like, all right, yeah, you don't need to tell me twice, like, just teach me how to do it. And so, that's a part of the attracting the perfect person, but it's like just having that, I hate to say like discipline, but it is a discipline to sit down and do what has to be done, but you have to find a fun way to do it. Like exercising for some people is pure torture. And I felt that multiple times throughout my life. Like it's torture, but there's been times where I've had so much fun and loved it so much, like it's anything but torture. So I'm like, how do I get back to that? How do I make reach outs fun? How do I make events fun? How do I make like all of the mundane things fun? And that is a big goal, is like bringing the fun back. So let's do it. Got some mark areas that I didn't tape down as well.
All right, I have to jump off and get my daughter in bed.
Yeah, I was thinking too, we can go ahead and wrap up. Thank you so much for joining us, Connie. You're welcome all of the time, anytime we have these calls. So just keep an eye out, and here to support in any way.
Thank you so much. I've really enjoyed this 2 hours. I really have. I really appreciate your mindset and the way you go about things. So it was really good. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. We're all in this together. Like it's all one team, always. And so anything we can do to support you, let us know.
Thank you. God bless.
Bye.